There we go. All right, another Hans from the Zoom meeting here.
Yep.
We got Santa Claus. We got
Yep.
Elliot
Ho
there.
ho, hold the payments. Remember that commercial for Schwartz?
Elliot thought my background was fake.
I did.
Yeah,
I did too. I thought
That's
it was like one of those things you could load up.
that's how well my wife decorates. You guys.
This is just a blanket
Oh, okay.
on my wall.
Yeah. That's cool. You're all dressed up as Santa.
Yep.
Oh,
Got to put the suit to good use. Now that we can't have anybody over, I might as well do it on Zoom.
Yeah. You might as well. Yeah. Awesome. So it's nice to have you back, Elliot.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
And last time it was just you and I, so it's glad we have Santa Claus here with us this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
What do you guys want for Christmas? I'll see what I can do.
I'm just happy to have some time off after this whole. The last couple of weeks have been just chaotic, so it's nice to, see the end in sight.
Elliot needs some shorts after that jump scare video.
Oh my God. Oh, I'm gonna get her back. Don't worry.
Are we allowed to post that on our page?
Yeah, you can post it. Yeah. Well, she got me good.
Yeah.
My co-founder Spencer, I sent it to him too. He messaged me and he said, we must be starting a new paranormal training program. Are we trying to get people used to seeing apparitions? I said, I guess so.
Well, at least we know now, if you react like that when we're together, you've definitely seen something.
Something very frightening. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And we got the dueling pictures in the background. You got the evil nun. I got Santa Claus. We got actual Santa Claus. So how are things going with the new book?
Pretty good. Geez, I ordered 75 copies when it first came out, and then I had to order 10 more, and then I actually had to order 10 more. So I should have just probably ordered 100 right off the get go. But
awesome.
When I ordered the 75, Sarah, who's also PPRI's chief financial officer, near hit the roof, because I think the 75 books worked out to be, I think, roughly like $400 or something like that. But I kept telling her, eventually, I had to promo some of them. I promoed probably about 25 of them just to my graphic designer and Lloyd Auerbach that wrote the forward and things like that. So basically I ate the cost of the printing, the shipping of the book for the promo copies. But I was able to sell the rest of them, and they're still selling it on Amazon and Chapters and Barnes and Noble, so that's good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I can't complain about it. It's been a good response. I don't have any extra ones. I know Doug had mentioned earlier in the week about making another post on Hans from the Cape, but I just don't have any left in stock.
Sold out.
That's good. No, you know what? That's good though.
No, it is. Yeah,
never a bad problem to have.
No, it's good. I'm happy with it. So
Awesome. So where did you get some of the stories, some of the inspiration for the second book? Did you just have a backlog of stories for after the first one? Yeah,
so I lucked out really because so the first one, when I wrote it, after I wrote my first book, my mother's like, "Oh, you should write a second book." I'm like, "Well, you don't really come across huge investigations that are book worthy every day." So I started thinking, what can I do to write a second book? And I thought about my two passions, which was law enforcement and the paranormal. And so I started reaching out to some coworkers and started collecting some stories. And then before I knew it, between people's recommendations to talk to, this person, that person, I had 50 stories collected. So that's where Supernatural Encounters came from. And then once that was released, I had other police officers and people in law enforcement contact me with more stories. So before I knew it, I had, I think, 41 new stories. So in the last 2 years, I've collected, almost 100 stories, all from law enforcement people. Wow. And I've had one female RCMP officer from Manitoba contact me since this book came out, and she gave me 2 or 3 stories as well. So I kind of have that on the back burner, and I'm also working on another book, which will be based just in Nova Scotia. It's going to be about haunted hotels, inns, restaurants, almost like a ghost tourism kind of guide for Nova Scotia. Awesome. So I was going to touch base with you guys and see what spots around there. Obviously, like the Celtic and things like that.
I work there.
Exactly. Yeah, I remember when I stayed there. You told me the couple of stories from there. So so I want to kind of do something like that, kind of more local next time. Just kind of switch it up from the law enforcement thing. Like I said, I've done it twice now, and just something a little bit different.
What's
right on.
hotel, Doug? Right on the waterfront, the old one, right almost across from the Cambridge, or up a little. I can't remember the name of it, but they say that
the
one.
Wanderlin.
No.
remember the Wanderlin?
No.
Oh my God, that's an old one. Well, I know there's Holiday Inn, which used to also be the Delta.
Yeah,
that's called. But what's that called now though? The old Holiday Inn in Kings Road is what? Travel Lodge or something now?
There's Travel Lodge,
right by Moxham, by Moxham Court.
That's the one, Travel Lodge. But there's that
Travel Lodge
side of it too. I can't remember the name of that one. But no, I'm talking downtown. But not on the opposite side of the road from.
Oh, the Royal Hotel.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is there a Spanish something hotel?
Oh, I know the one you're talking about. I can't think of the name of it. Yeah, that's the one that's like, it looks right fancy from the outside. That's like the brick walls and stuff. Yeah.
Is it still a hotel?
Yeah. Well,
I think really?
So. There's I think it might be in the old Sydney book. There's a story. Oh man, I'm gonna get this wrong. But I think there was a guy, I think he committed a murder. I can't remember if it was there or it happened and then he stayed there or something. I'll have to check the book again for sure. I remember reading it. But that might be a cool one to look into.
Interesting. Yeah, I never heard of that one. It definitely.
If the walls in the Royal Hotel could talk, they could tell some stories. They wouldn't be paranormal, but they'd be scary as hell.
Yeah.
I bet.
Like the Jacques Cartier. Yeah. No,
thanks. That'd be cool. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that one out.
Yeah, but other than that, I don't know of any really that would be haunted.
Yeah, it's funny because like even the Westin, for example, that's kind of what gave me the idea. So when we held our event in October, Daryl and I had always heard that the Westin was haunted, but I tried to find actual stories. So I went through all of Daryl's books, couldn't find anything. Went through Helen Creighton's Blue Nose Ghost, couldn't find anything. Went through Vernon Oikel and Steve Vernon's books, couldn't find anything on the Westin. Just kind of started to luck out. Our dog groomer used to work there in her late teens. And so she was telling me she had an apparitional experience. So she said back then the employees used to get the hotel rooms for $35 a night. So she had rented her parents a hotel room and hung out with them for the day. And then they went back to the hotel, ordered room service. And she thought she would help out the kitchen staff by bringing the plates down to the kitchen. So she went on the employee only service elevator. When she opened the door, there was a Caucasian male standing in the corner, and he was wearing like a 3/4 length black trench coat and had like a black fedora on his head. And he was kind of like looking down towards the floor. And she's from Cape Breton, so she's your typical friendly, bubbly kind of girl. And she says, "Hi, how you doing tonight?" And there was no response from him. So her gut kind of told her like, "Ooh, maybe I shouldn't get on this. Like, there's a creepy guy on this elevator. I'm a young girl. It's Halifax." Gets on it and goes down to the kitchen. Door opens up. She gets out, turns around and say goodnight to him. He's gone, completely gone. So unless he pulled a Bruce Willis and started climbing through the elevator, I mean, it had to be an apparition. And then she said when she worked in what they call the control room, which is when any guest wants a room made up or anything like that, all the phone calls go towards there. She said multiple guests would report on the 8th floor that a female wearing a white nightgown would come into the room, and some of them have seen her like materialize through the door. Never says anything, just disappears. Then I was playing with a guy on my hockey team, and he works there currently, and he told me that a cook had died about 9 years ago, not at the Westin, but he worked for the Westin, and for whatever reason, his spirit is still seen at the Westin, especially down in the basement by the employee lockers, where he used to have a locker. And then that night of our event, the catering staff had told us that on that floor that we were on, so at the Westin, the second floor is all conference rooms. And she said in the Atlantic room, they often see or hear, depending on who the staff member is, a little boy. And the little boy is often seen or heard dribbling a basketball. And halfway through the lecture that I was giving, Daryl decided to venture out down to the room. He goes into the room, and he turns his head to the left, and he sees what he thought at the time was a little girl with shoulder length blonde hair dive underneath the table. But he said the actual tablecloth didn't move, but it was almost like a translucent tablecloth had moved, and the apparition he had seen was translucent. And so he said he stood there for a couple minutes. He was scared shitless, didn't know what was going on, and went over to the table, looked underneath it. There was nothing there. He came back to the room. I was lecturing. I had no idea any of this had happened at the time, and you could tell he was rattled. And he brought my mom in, actually, because she's kind of sensitive, but she didn't pick anything up. And then there was a lady there named Carmel Clark, that's a medium, and she went into the room and she said, no, I don't think it was a little girl you saw. I think it was a little boy. And the little boy had attended a wedding there at some point. I do believe is what she picked up on. And when we checked with the staff said, no, yeah, it's a little boy, but he's got like shoulder length, long blonde hair. So really cool. I wish I would have seen it. Would love to get back there, but the Westin does not really like talking about it, as you can tell. I mean, I had to dig up all those ghost stories by myself. So it would be, I don't know if they may authorize an investigation if it was completely private and nobody knew about it. But,
we run into that too with places too. They'll say you can come on up whenever you want, but you can't post you're here. You can't tell people you're coming. You can't, none of that stuff, right? So
keep it on the down low.
And it makes sense. I understand, like, there's some customers that may be turned off if they hear it's haunted. That's true. Then there's other places, like I was at a restaurant in Rhode Island. It's called Tavern on Main, and they fully promote their haunting. They have T-shirts that they sell. They've been on multiple documentaries. Like they totally use it to their advantage. But
the Five Fishermen do that too, don't they? In Halifax, they fully embrace it too.
Five Fishermen's pretty good. Yeah, like if you ask the staff, they'll talk about it. They've been on a few different shows. They're pretty good. Now it's interesting. Before we used the Westin for our event, we wanted to use it's an old place called the Cellar Bar and Grill, which is now called Urban Resto, and it's in Bedford on the Bedford Highway. And when it was Cellar Bar and Grill, it was on Creepy Canada. It was they promoted all their stuff, and then when the new owners took over Resto, all that kind of just disappeared. So I actually emailed them twice. I said, like, and I even sent them the link to Creepy Canada. I said, listen, your place is known to be haunted. It's no secret. Here's the link to Creepy Canada. We'd like to host an event there. They never responded. It was close to Thanksgiving holiday, so I waited till after Thanksgiving. I sent them a second message and said, listen, the holiday's over. I never heard back from you. I'm looking to rent your business to host this event. Nothing. Not even a response to say that they were full or anything. Just totally just ignored you.
Yeah. That's not cool.
No.
That happened to me with the Celtic years and years ago when we first started. Not now. There's a guy there now. He's really good. Like, he'll talk to us about it and stuff. And we get along pretty good with him. But when I first was messaging them back in like 2014, completely ignored. Like, I'd send them a message every 6 months and just, you could tell it was opened, but no response. No, we're not interested. We're not, kind of thing. Right. Yeah. So I don't know if they'd ever let us do an event there, but I'd like to at least investigate it someday. I already told Jason before, I said, if I go up there and spend $300 and some a night to stay, I'm taking my gear.
Oh yeah. No,
good luck stopping me. I'll be all over the lobby. Beep, beep,
it is
beep,
very,
beep.
very beautiful location, like beautiful location, but you're right. It's like top dollar unless unless you guys have an in and can get like an employee discount. But it's when Sarah and I stayed there, I think it was like $350 a night.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever been to the Invery Inn in Bedeck before it burned?
I have
not. Ever walk in that place?
No.
I went in there. We were there once for a hockey tournament. We stayed there, and I'd never been there before. And I knew it was almost like the the Celtic Lodge and the Invery. Like, those are the two places you talked about as the old hotels, right? When we walked in there, I couldn't believe the vibe you get when you walked into the old building. Oh my! You could just feel the energy in the place. It was crazy. I didn't want to leave the main lobby. Like, we were staying in the newer part. I didn't want to leave. I just kept going back and sitting in the chairs and sitting in the lobby because it was just such an amazing spot. And it's so unfortunate that it did burn. But I don't even know if anybody's ever investigated that place before.
So once it burned down, they never rebuilt it or anything like that?
I think they're working on it now.
They're working on it now,
Yeah.
but I mean, all the old,
you're not going to get
artifacts,
that.
and
Yeah.
you're not going to get that vibe. It's going to be a brand new building.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you're not going to have that feel to it, right?
Yeah.
The smell, I call it.
Yeah,
I
that's
haven't
too
heard
bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Doug, with the smell.
Yeah, you get that old, not
Sounds like a
musty,
museum.
but
Yeah,
like a museum.
Yeah.
Mm.
That house.
That's too bad
stay.
because, like you said, you'll never replicate that again, right?
No,
No.
never.
That's what that
And
house.
now when they
in East
build
Bay
it, they'll
smells like.
probably make it more modern now that they
Mhm.
have the insurance money to fix it up.
And that's too
That's so
bad because
bad.
you kind of want to keep it the old way, right?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
But
I like some of the old places, like it's funny actually. Another story about people that don't like talking about haunting. So when I had to go to New Brunswick to get a vasectomy, I rented.
hello.
I rented. Oh yeah, that was a lot of fun. I rented an Airbnb that was built in the 1800s. So of course I messaged the owner and I just said, "Hey, I'm coming into town for a night, renting your place. Noticed it's a heritage home. It was built in the 1800s. Just wondering if you've experienced anything unusual or any of your guests have." And holy shit, I got a email back. Like he was like, "No, nothing weird's ever happened here. We don't want anything like that here." Like it was like on a huge tangent. And Sarah's like, "Oh my God, you're gonna get us kicked out of the Airbnb before we're even there." And I don't know if it was a coincidence or not, but about an hour after we checked in, he stopped in to kind of, ask if everything was all right, if we settled in, kind of thing. But I don't know if he was coming to check to make sure I wasn't like holding a seance there or something, or what. But like some people are just completely against promoting that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, you get it's like three groups of people. You get the people who are super enthusiastic about it, will talk the ear off you for hours and tell you all about their stories. Then you get the other side of the coin where they'll just completely stop you dead in your tracks and say they don't believe. And then you get the middle of the road people who kind of look at you like you're crazy, but they're interested they'll at least carry the conversation along with you. Like my buddy Darren is that way. He's super skeptic, doesn't believe in ghosts or nothing like that. But if I send him a clip, he's really good with sound and stuff. Like he's basically he's a teacher in Saskatchewan, but he knows a lot of sound engineering. So I'll send him a lot of the stuff and he'll come back and we'll go back and forth. And I want him to build me some kind of like echo chamber type thing. He could do like, he's brilliant, this guy. But anyway, he's one of those guys where he doesn't believe, but he'll still talk to you about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
sure,
I find those are the three categories of people that I run into. The believers, the super non-believers, and then the people who are at least willing to, lend you their ear so you can try to convince them that there's something there.
Yeah, and some are just terrified, right? And a lot of the people that, don't believe, a lot of it's fear. Well, they're just scared. They don't want to unlock that part of, whatever it is. But I don't know.
No, it's true. It's true. Like I know some people that won't even watch horror movies. They're like, I can't watch that stuff or anything like that. And I'm the complete opposite. Like, I'll even watch, I haven't watched it yet, but I remember you recommended a terrible one there, that Zombie Beavers or whatever.
Zombievers. That's classic. That's classic.
Yeah, so, cause I remember, Sarah and I are always, every time we try and pick a movie we haven't seen yet, I said, it can't be any worse than that Aqua Slash that we watched.
Did you watch that? Did you watch that Axe Murderer Cape Breton one that I had on the page the other day?
No, I haven't seen that one.
The Psychotic Axe Murder or something like that. It's called. It's on Tubi. Oh my God, it's amazing. Wait, now the guy who was in it is on our page. What a great movie! It's Oscar worthy. Can't say too much.
They filmed it in the mid '90s or something like that, and it's funny too. You watch it, and you can see different parts, like where they're at.
Yeah.
Right. It's pretty cool. It's pretty neat that it was done here, and he's a professor. Irene had him. He was one of her professors out at the college. I only met him once.
Really?
Yeah.
It's actually interesting. Cape Breton University, I noticed, because what had happened is we have a case that came in back maybe October, November, and the gentleman had told me that he had written to a couple of universities, and the universities wrote back to him, and they said that they didn't know anything about parapsychology. They didn't have anyone on staff or anything like that. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So I did up a memo and I sent it out to all the main universities and in CBU. And I noticed CBU actually has a folklore department, and they have a professor that's in charge of folklore. So I sent him a copy of the letter too, just to let people know that there are, people out there that if someone comes to them for help, that they can try and help them. So
Yeah, for sure. But and I'll have to thank you again for helping us out this past summer at the Fortress of Lewisburg at our various events we did. How many did we do, Doug? 5?
Oh God, I think
So many.
you did one without me because I was in the hospital.
Yes.
And then, night before.
Yeah.
And then we did the 2 with Elliot, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And then was just one after that. 1 in October.
you definitely
Maybe it was
had one
4.
more.
Yeah,
you definitely had one
4
more.
at least.
It was 4. Yeah, it was 4. But we were
Yeah.
out there. Well, we were out there 5 because we went out there just ourselves with Kyle that night
Yes.
for a couple hours.
Right.
So we were there
Yeah.
5 times this year. Yeah.
5 times this year. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, and the people that attended were great as well. Like you got to meet a lot of interesting people, and yeah, it was awesome.
It's cool. It's cool hearing their stories too, right? Because Fortress and you're investigating the Fortress, but then you're like, oh yeah, no, I was out at Black Brook this time, or I was, there's this other in Myra Gut, or it's really cool hearing the stories, and it's always time.
Well, there was that one lady that was telling us about her ghost photo, and so she showed it to me, and I told her flat out, I just said, listen, I said, it's not that I don't believe it. I was like, but it almost looks too good to be true. And I said, there's even before I retired from the RCMP, we were having trouble to detect what was real, what wasn't real in digital evidence. And I said, if you want, you can send it to me and I'll have it looked at and get back to you. So she did send it to me. I had it analyzed. It came back that it wasn't digitally altered or anything like that. But a couple of my investigators, Sarah was one of them, suggested that it almost looks like somebody had pressed their face up against the screen. And so she tried it, but it didn't look quite the same. So she thought maybe the face needed to be a bit more oily or it needed more makeup on. So she went and applied some fresh makeup, and we did it. We were actually able to replicate it perfectly. So then I contacted the lady again and said, can you go out and take the same pictures you took before, but right now? And sure enough, when she took it 2 months after the initial photo, you could still just barely see the face mark. So if it was a ghost, the chances of a ghost showing up in the same area twice on camera is pretty slim. And so I had suggested to her, listen, I noticed you have a pool in the backyard. Is it possible that somebody may have pressed their face against the screen and yelled into the house or whatever? And she said, yeah, it's totally possible. And she actually thanked us. And I think I sent you guys the report just to keep you up to date on it. But she actually thanked us and said, at least now I know it's not like some sort of entity or something in my house. But, even that was really cool, because that's kind of a cool investigation you can share at lectures and things like that, to show people that, hey, we don't just come in here and say your house is haunted. We actually look for rational explanations on what's going on.
Yeah.
I always feel so bad debunking people's stuff, because some people are so convinced that it could be like, a deceased loved one, or, and when they send you something, especially with a cell phone, like cell phone orbs are so easy to just completely debunk, because cell phones take pictures of dust as if they're like these big entities on the screen, and they're not, right? But I always feel so bad debunking people's things, because they're so convinced and they're so happy. But then as an investigator who's been doing this for years and years, you already know before you even have to look at the picture. Like the minute it's on my screen, I look at it and I go, damn. The first question you have to ask is, did you film that with a cell phone? If they say, yep, you got to say, that's just dust in your house. I'm sorry. Go bang on the pillow and film it again. And they'll usually go and do it, and they'll say, oh my God, thank you so much. But you do get the odd person who will scream at you.
They don't believe.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I've had that happen to me a few times now, where they're like, no, you're not telling me that that's not what it is. And it's like, but you're asking, and I just feel bad. I always feel bad when people ask.
I do too. Like, I do have some empathy on that for sure. I definitely, like, this lady was convinced it was a ghost photo. So I kind of did feel, like that little bit of bad feeling, but you also don't want, and at the end of the day, you can tell them it's not a ghost, and they may still think it's a ghost anyway, and you just got to walk away from it. But like, I know, for example, there's one Facebook page I follow, and somebody just recently posted that their grandfather had passed away, and she's like, I was opening a picture of my husband opening his birthday gift, and this like orb floats by, and she's like, was that my grandfather? And I looked at it, and I'm like, man, that's just dust,
Yeah.
like dust or dirt or something in the air. Like you could tell it's not a ghost, it's not an apparition, but it's like I didn't bother commenting on it because like I see those every day. But I mean, there's somebody obviously just lost their grandfather. They're looking for proof of the afterlife.
Proof. Yeah, that's right.
So yeah. I mean, she didn't contact me, so I wasn't going to burst her bubble, but I just looked at it and I said, yeah, that's not a ghost.
No, it's tough. That's tough. Yeah. So, look into the future, maybe spring. I'm thinking it would be nice to, I know we got the, John and myself made it up to Mabu, the old asylum site. I would love to get a full investigation going there. We already talked to Stanley Beaton about it. So maybe in the spring, Elliot, you're more than welcome to jump in on that if you want.
That'd be really cool.
Doug, I was thinking maybe we should mention it to Heather, maybe. Yeah, and Stanley, Mr. Beaton, he has he's going to bring his divining rods. He said apparently he has some good luck with that. He's going to show us, and John and I kind of like he said, I'm going to take these here, and he said, I'm going to show you guys where the bodies are. And I'm like, I believe you. He's a 70-year-old man. He's been fighting to preserve this land for, just the area for how long and without any luck. So we kind of jumped in and, and if anything we can do to help, to get it out there and get some funding just to secure it, we'll most certainly do. And Elliot, you're more than welcome to.
Oh yeah, I'd love to
awesome,
help out with that. Is he eventually hoping to kind of do like what they do with the residential schools, like get the equipment in and do the scan of the grounds and things like that to recover bodies, or
not so much really. What all he basically wants is some recognition, maybe a monument, sorry, kind of like behind Walmart, Doug, they have even something like that, like a bench, just clean it up, maybe fence it in, because the spot it's at, it's absolutely beautiful. It's like you're kind of like down in a valley. There's hills all around you. There's a big stream going right around it. It's really, really nice. The area, it's just it's really sad what happened there. And like I say, if we can do anything to help out, but right now, he just wants to get some recognition and maybe some money from the government, just for that reason. I don't think it would cost a whole lot to clean it up.
No.
Put a monument, put a bench in, put a fence around,
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, we can totally do that and take some video and stuff like that. Maybe put something together. Yeah.
He's kind
Has he contacted Amy Pettis yet? Do you know?
I don't know. He who did he mention? Who's up there? McMaster? For that area. I'm trying to think who the MLA is.
Oh yeah. Wait now, maybe.
I think
it's Amy wouldn't go that far, would he?
I don't think. Okay. It's a different guy, but I'm saying McMaster, but I think he told me someone different. I can't remember. I'll message him and ask him again. But yeah, and he's kind of curious. He was asking about our equipment because he's skeptical too. But he's very open to it. So he's like, next time you guys come, are you going to bring all your equipment? I'm like, absolutely. I said, you bring your divining rods. I said, we'll bring our gear. And, there's, it's a sad story. There could be souls left there. There could be none. Who knows, right? But it'd be really cool to
have you heard if anyone else has investigated it and caught anything there? Or?
No, it's
private. The first one.
We'd be the first ones, and it's private property. It's surrounded by electric fences, so we had to,
oh wow.
Stanley had to reach out to the owner of the farm before we went so he could turn them off.
Oh wow. That'd be awesome. Yeah, I mean, I can bring what we have too. The FLIR and all that stuff. So that'd be fun.
I want to do a big one. Okay, 10 minutes left. All right, cool.
Lots of time.
Yeah, lots of time. So that'd be really cool to do in the spring. It's cool to kind of get out and see that side of the island. And also when I was in Waikagama at one of my stores last week, a couple of the girls there were telling me about a cabin up in, where'd she say it was? Glencoe Mountain or something. A woman died there a couple of years ago. I don't know all the details because I'm just kind of hearing about it. But they say once nighttime comes, the entire vibe of the place changes. I sent the pictures to Doug. It looks,
Yeah.
you'd go there for a week and stay. It looks amazing.
Oh my God. It's like,
Yeah.
it looks like a ski lodge.
It does.
Wow.
Yeah. And it says, you see the name on the outside, it says Cabin Fever. So
Mhm.
it's, but apparently there's some, it completely changes. Like you're having a great day and all of a sudden night falls. And she said, one of the girls I talked to said it just changes completely. She said she won't go near it at night. But she said,
Really?
if there's a group of us, she said she'll go up with us. She'll show us the way. So that's another one I think we should.
That sounds really interesting. Yeah. Well, that kind of reminds me of Churchill Mansion in Yarmouth. So the story there is if you stay in Churchill's room, the women seem to have like a phenomenal night's sleep, but the men cannot fall asleep. They're up all night. So
Is that the honeymoon suite?
yeah. So when Daryl was
I stayed there.
running, have you? Did you
Yeah.
sleep good?
Oh, I slept like a baby.
Did you? That's interesting.
Well, then you're a woman.
I won't tell the story, but I'll just say I owe Irene another honeymoon because of that. But that's a story for another time.
That's interesting because so when Daryl was running the Center for Parapsychological Studies in Canada, a team went down there and a couple had stayed in the room that were investigators. And as soon as the woman walked in, she was exhausted. She's like, I am like ready for bed. And Jason was like, this is a night out. Like we don't have the kids, like, come on. And no, she went in, she freaking laid on the bed, crashed out. He could not sleep a wink all night. I mean, they were only there the one night, and I mean, there's been studies done as well when somebody's primed about a location. So I mean, obviously he knew what was going on, he knew the history of it or whatever, that can also affect you as well. So but it was just kind of interesting that she went in, and as soon as she went into the room, she was just completely wiped out and slept like a baby, and then he was up all night.
Wow.
I don't think they're in operation anymore, though. I was checking their website out not too long ago, and I think COVID might have shut them down.
Yeah, but I think even when the new owners took over, they want absolutely nothing to do with anything.
Like an Airbnb.
Yeah, they want nothing to do with it.
And that's the thing with COVID right now too, is a lot of these spots want minimum amount of nights because it's not worth their financial I guess situation to have a cleaner come in just if somebody's only staying one night, right?
But we stayed the one night, and the weirdest thing, nothing weird happened. I stayed up for a while because I was just waiting for something to happen. But nothing happened. Woke up in the morning. We went to leave and we were locked in the room.
Really?
We couldn't get out. No matter, and it's funny, Irene was taking a video of me getting really out of gear, like sweating, and just I couldn't understand why the door wouldn't open.
Yeah.
And anyway, so what I had to do, I had to go on the little patio thing, and there's an American couple staying in the next room. So I seen a woman there and I thought she saw me. So I knocked on the window. I almost scared the life out of her. But she opened the window and asked what was wrong. I said, we're locked in our room. So her husband came out and he literally just flicked it and the door like slid open. I was like, really?
What? Well, that's
what?
That was it. It was just, and the door just,
something.
I'm like sweating and physically angry and ready to throw myself through the door. And yeah, he literally just clicked it and the door just slid open.
You know what? That's funny you mentioned that because the same lady that told me a few stories about the West and said that there was a guest one time that had gotten locked in his room, could not open the door, actually called down to the control room. They sent maintenance up. Wow. And by the time maintenance came up to, use the tools to open the door, Buddy was able to open it up, but it was the same thing. He was panicking. And when he called them, he's like, I'm trapped in my room. I can't get out. And so that's interesting that's happened at a couple of different haunted locations.
Yeah, it was weird. It was good for a laugh, but it was like someone was playing a practical joke.
Yeah.
The ghost, I'm sure, thought it was hilarious, and Irene thought it was hilarious, but I was really, really mad. I've opened this door 100 times since we've been here, but now I can't get out. And wouldn't budge.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That is cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Awesome. We got
cool.
4 minutes left. 4 minutes and 50 seconds left.
Well, we're Daryl and I were talking. We used to have a newsletter way back in the day. It was called Parascientifica, and it was just for Center for Parapsychological Studies members and anyone that would subscribe to the print edition. But I was talking to him, and we want to kind of resurrect that. So I was going to ask you guys if you'd be interested in writing an article. It could be on anything. Could be, I don't know, it could be on an investigation you did, or like could be like you guys have a ton of knowledge on the Fortress of Lewisburg. It could be something on that.
Yeah.
Just to put it in, and it's going to be a free magazine that'll be available for download in Adobe PDF. And if I
Cool.
can find a company that does it cheap enough, I might do like a print on demand kind of thing. So if somebody actually wanted a hard copy of the magazine, they could go to the website and just pay for a print on demand kind of
Yeah.
thing. So I've got a few different people. That medium that came to our event that I told you about, Carmel, she is a counselor, and she
Okay.
does some paranormal trauma counseling. So she's going to write an article about that. I'm going to write one about profit in the paranormal. I've got a few different people interested in writing it. So if you guys would
Okay.
be interested,
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Looking at having the
Absolutely.
first issue, we want to do it quarterly. So it'll be end of January, end of April, end of July, and end of October.
Okay.
So our first issue we want out by January 31st. So you'd have till, because it's electronic right now, I probably only need a couple days to edit it or whatnot. So if you
Okay.
could have something done up by like 28th, that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
All right.
do it.
Me and we can collaborate on something and send it in.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah. And then
Yeah.
that way, like I said, it'll be free, available online. It'd just be kind of like a paranormal magazine that touches on different topics and
Awesome.
things like that. So
Love it.
Sure,
Yeah, that sounds cool.
not a problem.
So many cool stories, and I finally made it back to Bay St. Lawrence today. It's been a while since the bridges and roads washed out and everything, and as I was going, I can't remember exactly where I was, but I looked to my left as I was driving. There is a really, really cool abandoned house off in the woods, and if I'm driving, there's a road to the right. I'm trying to picture it. I can't remember the name, but it's you can tell no one's been there in years because it's grown in. So next time I'm up, I want to pull to the side of the road and run across the road. And
I find it interesting that Nova
Drive
Scotia
around.
has so many abandoned homes. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
The one that's every time we drive to Cape Breton and we're driving on the highway there, the one that's right on the corner of the main highway and Glen Morrison Road that everyone says is the haunted house. Is that owned by, like, does anyone actually live there, or is it just like vacant?
It's owned. They're renovating it. I can't remember the name of the couple that bought it. But we've reached out a few times, like, because I've been in there and I had an experience there in '97. So, it was my first. I know there's something going on there. We've reached out a few times, and a couple of mutual friends that I know somebody who knows them, and they've reached out, but they haven't reached out back. I would love to get in there. I'd love nothing more than to get in there because I know there's.
Yeah, I drive by it, and
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because you had told me possibly that it was haunted, or Sarah had told me, but for whatever reason, every time I drive by there, it like attracts my attention more
Mhm.
so than anything else. So
Yeah, no, next time you're coming down, have a peek there. They put new windows in and they're doing all kinds of renovations to it. So that makes me wonder, like, is the activity inside the place going crazy because they're doing so much work to it? I'd
I'll
love to
check
know,
it
right?
out this week because, like I said, we'll be heading down the 23rd. So yeah, I'll take a look at it.
Yeah. Maybe if we have time over the holidays, we can get together for a social distance coffee or something.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But we're almost out of time here.
All right.
Thanks
Well,
again.
it's good talking to you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys too. I appreciate you.
Merry
having me back
Christmas.
on.
Yeah.
All
Yes,
the best
you
to
too.
you and yours.
Yep.
Yeah. Hopefully we get to hook up there when I'm down.
Sounds good.
Absolutely. Sounds great, pal. We'll be talking to you.
All right,
All
guys.
right.
Take care.
Cheers, guys.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.